Everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make this slightly loopier looking chair style bow, which is just a little bit different to the two-tone more square looped chair bow that I showed you last week. And the other thing that I've done with this one, obviously on this version we did the two-tone. Obviously you can do just a single colour, but like I said, this one's two-tone. On this version of the chair style, the alternative version, we're going to do four-tone. And the other thing that I thought I'd show you how to do today is I have had some vinyl heat transfers. Like I said, this is the name of my niece Ella, and our little doll that sort of matches the kind of type of girly girl that Ella is. So I thought I'd actually customise one for her for once, which I haven't done in a little while. And you can get the vinyls from a couple of places. In the UK, you can get them from Crafty Koala and Lovely Crafts, and they both do the names. Like I said, you can choose the name and spelling of the name that you want, and like I said, they also have a couple of colour options like silver, white, black and holographic, and a few other options like that. Or if you've got a pre-cut machine, obviously you can make them yourself, and my sister's actually made me a couple on hers, but I don't know much about that side of it myself personally. So for the one that I'm going to do later, I've got my other nieces because they're twins. It's Ella and Lizzie, or Ella and Elizabeth, and that one's Ella's, and this one in the black style vinyl transfer, that's going to be for Lizzie, that we're going to do in a minute. And I've also got this cute little doll that's similar to Liz's personality as well. I'm going to add this one. These ones are actually from AliExpress. Like I said, I don't normally buy from there very much myself, but I saw these when I was looking through some other bits and pieces, and they're quite cute, and they were only a couple of £pounds for like a selection of like 5 or 6. I think they came in, there was a selection of 3, and I cut them into bits to be able to do this because I like them. They're a nice length on this. And again, on these ones, I've done the longer tailed versions, and I also think they look really cute with slightly shorter tails as well. So this one is in, it's 4 times 25 centimeters or 4 times 10 inches, and this one is 2 times 10 inches and 2 times 7 inches, just to get the slightly shorter tails and the more rounded sort of look. So like I said, you completely play around, you can completely adjust your colours. Like I said, you've got all different effects. Like I said, this is black and white, you've got purple, pink, blue, and like I said, this nice marbly colour. And this is from Eva's Bows and Craft Supplies, and I'll put the link to her store as well on the description for you, so you can find all that information and all the measurements and everything like that, as well as links for Crafty Koala and Lovely Crafts will all be in the description box, because I know I do talk too fast sometimes. And the other thing I wanted to explain to you is, obviously I use this B7000 glue for gluing my pieces of ribbon together. If you don't have it, you can use your hemming tape, or if you're able to sew through it, you can even use double-sided tape. So like I said, you don't necessarily have to use the things I use in the videos. You can sort of play around and use what you have available instead of what I've got personally, but it's entirely up to you. So we'll just move these out of the way, and I've got my ribbon all cut and heat sealed already. So I've cut all of these to 10 inches because we're going to do a longer tailed one so I can decorate it. And I have heat sealed all my edges, and I'm going to have a similar colour to this one. I'm going to do it opposite. I'm going to have the tail this side and the colour this side. So for that, because they're twins but they're not identical, Ella has brown sort of wavy curly hair, and Lizzie is blonde with fine straight hair. They like to refer to themselves as princesses, and Ella says she looks like Belle. Lizzie likes to say that she looks like Rapunzel. And then I've got Evie, my younger niece, her younger sister. The girl, twins are 5, and Evie is 3, almost 4. She's got like tight curly hair. She looks like Annie from a musical. Like I said, she says that she looks like Goldilocks, so like I said, that's how they refer to themselves. So, as you can see on that one, what I've done is I've pinned them, taken them, you make your square overlap here, and I always use pins, but again, if you want to, you can use a touch of glue. All you have to do is make sure that you're keeping this bit squared up and it's not going to slip or move when you put your stitches in. That is the only concern that you sort of need to think about, but any method that you use that you want to use is perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm just not one for gluing unless I absolutely have to. So that's the look that you want for your tails with those that way, and like I said, you could do your layers either direction, whichever you want to see more of when the bow's completed. So that's one bit. I'll put that to one side as well. And then to do the main part of the bow, this is where the glue or whatever you want to use to join it comes in. Is I put a touch of glue just across here. And the other reason I like this one is it dries completely clear. You can't see any glue lines when it's glued. It doesn't smell as badly as some of the others, like the E6000 ones. And as you see, I have to use quite a bit of force to get just a tiny layer out. You could even use hot glue gun on your higher temperature. Like I said, I have 60 and 100, so if I was going to use my glue gun, I'd use 100, do a tiny thin layer. As long as you can stitch through it, you're absolutely fine. And then we just glue those together. I put like 1/2 centimetre overlap. 1/2 centimetre, that's all you need, as long as you're able to sew through it. And this also works as your centre for the main part of your bow. What I'm also going to do is I've got a couple of clips, so I'm just going to clip those there for now. What you can also do, as you can see, that's dead centre. So the other thing we do with this piece is we make a shape like this, so it's almost a heart shape, and again you've got this like square here. And I'm going to pin, but like I said again, if you wanted to do a touch of glue just in your corners or along the edges of the square, feel free to do it that way, as long as you do really thin layers and you're not leaving like bumps or marks all visible. So there you go. So like I said, that's all squared up, so it's all nicely squared there and here, so that's your square shape, which matches up with this piece. Now before I join them together, what I'm going to do, just to get my creases in nicely, is forward your bit here to get your triangle, and just pinch in a heat crease. This is just a nice guide for when you put your stitches in, so you know your line's even. Like so. And again, fold this in half, pinch it so you get your triangle, and just crease. Watch your needles, don't stab yourself. Okay, so you've got two nice creases that you can see, and then I overlap them again, so you've got this square. It's all about this square bit here. I'm going to repin so I've got all 4 layers gathered, and again the same as this side, make sure that all of them are completely lined up, so all of your points, so all of your squared corners all line up around, and you can't see one side more than any other around the whole bit of the area. And again, like I said, if you wanted to touch glue, you're good to go. Like I said, whatever you personally work best with. just going to take those extra pins out so I don't forget and have them in the bow as I'm building them. So what you do then is we can take these clips out, because this glue will be dry because it's quite fast drying as well. And this line is the centre of our bow. So what you do is bring this up like so. You'll have two nice even loops like this, and again, because I'm a stickler for things not moving, pin through here, pin through here. You can move these ones, okay, and again double check that your square is still all lined up, because you want that all together. So I'm just going to put another little pin just going to put a pin there just to make sure that all those layers are all still aligned together. And the point, this one, is right at the edge of this point where the triangles, the loops, start going up. And again, if you want to, you can pop your clip just there so everything stays in place as you put in your stitches in, etc. Okay, and I always use my 7cm needle, which is a darning needle, or you can use an upholstery needle if you're in other countries, and it's 7cm long. It's much stronger than an average needle, and I use extra strength double threaded Goodband thread, but you can also use upholstery thread depending on what you personally prefer or have available to yourselves. So we start in this corner, this triangle this way. You want to go from the bottom. You want to be making sure you're going through all of the 4 layers of that triangle, like so, and we've got a crease line from where we did it earlier, and you want to do 8 stitches to get 4 creases, and I'll show you once I've got them placed. I'm going to move that out of the way so I don't stab myself. Try and make them as even as you can, because it will help you balance your bow. There you go. Once you've got everything through, you can take your supports. And what I'm also going to do is I am going to put a dot, and I mean a tiny dot, just the little excess that I've got on the tip of my glue gun. I'm just going to do that corner, and I'm going to do exactly the same. You see here where the square edge is? I'm going to put a dot on this purple layer at the bottom. Okay. Do the blue. And a tiny dot there for this layer, just so that they stay nicely in place. And if you want to, where the corner is there, you can put a dot here. Just a tiny bit. You don't want anything that's going to be visible to the structure of the bow. And again, this last layer, put your dot of glue on the ones that you've already done. Not a lot. Don't do what I do. I can't feel the tips of my fingers anymore. Years of crafting. Like I said, you can do that just for an extra bit of security and stop those points from moving and making your bow look messy. And there you go. So we've got in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches. So you've got in 1, 2, 3, out, and on the back you should have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and what I'll do I'm just going to take my pen because like I said, it's going to be covered by my centre anyway. And there, as you can see, I've drawn on the 4 stitches so you can see them. And on this side, again, there you go, in 1, 2, 3, out. Okay, so hopefully that you find that bit helpful. So once you've got all of those in place, you can cinch like so. Now if you wanted to glue everything instead, you could, and you could fold and do creases like so and wrap, but if you fold it instead of sewing, it's easier to do your 3 pinch to get it nicely rather than your 4 on your stitches. I don't know why that is, I just naturally can't fold the four creases in these bigger ones and keep them even, whereas when I stitch it I can. It's one of those little tricks. So wrap it around a couple of times, like so, and then stitch off in the back however you personally prefer. I know people who like literally do the creasing method and then tie them off with a cable tie or wire and things like that. So like I said, you can play around and find the method that works for you. And like I said, always make sure it's nice and centered like this, and this is what you get. So you've got your nice loopy style at the front, and this is what your back should look like with the quite pointed bits here, and obviously the plain side of the ribbon showing this side. There you go. And then what I do is line up my tails, make sure they're even, they're a touch off. So I like to do is line them up like that. No, they're actually okay. And then you can do your tails, you can do straight up, or you can do the curve like I do, whatever you personally prefer. I think I'm going to do straight up on this one instead of a curve. No, I'll do the same so that they match a little. So do your curve. If you want to get the angle on both sides the same, what you do is you take this one, turn it this way, and I pin it against this side, and I use that as a guide so that my curves are the same height and the same depth. There you go, so they're both the same. Just going to do that slightly because there we go. Straighten that edge a little, and don't forget to heat seal, and make sure to do it in the blue clear bit of the flame, not the orange bit of the flame. We'll do this side. There we go. So that's that. And obviously you can add your centre now, or like I said, you can add this extra step. And I use my hair straighteners for doing this, and I also have some heat transfer tape, and this stuff is brilliant because you can literally, basically it's equivalent of sellotaping what you want onto your ribbon, and also it stops things from slipping and moving around and you having accidents where things completely shift as you go to do it. So like I said, I love it. And again, you can buy it from eBay and Amazon and places like that. There's a couple of suppliers that might do it. I'll put any links I'm aware of. But be careful with these because some of them come with backing, like the ones that my sister have got a little backing bit. So if you've got a backing bit, take that off and make sure you've got the slightly tacky side of your vinyl transfer, and that you're not basically gluing it to the protection, but this one hasn't got it. So, and this has got a slightly raised feel to it. So what we can do, take that where we want it, work out where we want it on the ribbon. I want it here so I can have my Lizzie name just underneath it. And we're going to have it quite in the centre so there's a nice amount of blue either side. Tape that down. And I like the heat transfer, the straighteners for this, because I've got the wide paddled one, and most of my heat transfers tend to be any bigger than them. So you can hold them together for like and always check your transfers, because every supplier, depending on what they've used, like the black and the hollow have slightly different temperature times. So I'll check what the supplier recommends, but the average is sort of anywhere between 15 seconds to 30 seconds. So with these, most people recommend that you heat the ribbon first and then put your transfer on and then hold it for like 15 seconds. With the straighteners, you can literally take them. As you can see, the paddles are so big, I can completely cover the whole design. And you can just hold them between them for like the 30 seconds because it's heating this side of the ribbon and this side of the ribbon. Don't do any movement or anything like that, and it won't burn the ribbon or anything, or melt the transfer sheet that's on top. So 30 seconds, give it a quick check. Okay, I can see that's gripped the material underneath, you can see it gripping there. So if you're happy with everything, give it a second to cool down. And there you go. Got my cute little doll. Looks like my niece. And I can add her name. Sorry, the protection sheet that my sister's added is really stuck on that one. So again, I'm going to have Lizzie's, and I'm just going to add the tape across it just to secure it for a second. Like I said, don't do for too long. Like I said, never do more than sort of 15 seconds to 30 seconds. You can always do 15 seconds, check if it's stuck to your ribbon, and then do it for another sort of 5 to 10 rather than just doing it for 30, unless you're sure of like your supplier's directions or your own directions depending on what you've used. And like I said, always remember, like I said, holographic has slightly different times, the plain writing has slightly different times. Always check what your supplier recommends or what you've learned from, like I said, your Cricut design studios. Like I said, pay attention, because like I said, they're all slightly different. So $15. 5. Go. Like I said, you don't need long at all, and like I said, my GHDs go up to 230, so again, you don't need the highest temperature ones. So see how clearly that lifted, and that's all nicely on there. And like I said, this is one of my favourite things about ribbon. You have got so many options. Like I said, you can completely change. Like I said, you can completely do different colours. You can add your vinyls, you can add your embellishments, you can add your gems, you can bling up your centres, you can add sliders. You've got so many options to make things completely uniquely your own and do your own twists on things. Like I said, you don't have to do exact copies of anything that you've seen before. You can, like I said, take your own twists on your ideas. I'm going to add this to a bubble, so I put a touch of glue there, and I've got a corresponding 9mm ribbon, and I have heat sealed the edge there. I'm just going to pop that over the excess glue from around the bubble, and we're going to wrap round twice And make sure you can't see the wrap round ribbon, so you can't see this one as we go around the second time. Don't want to be completely overlapped so you can't see. There we go. Cut that little bit off. Heat seal there. Okay. And there we go. We've got a super cute, customised loopia chair bow style. Like I said, same with your chairs on these. Like I said, these are perfect bows for adding your name, or like I said, if you've got cheerleader team or a dance troupe, you can have like the 2020 here for the year for like competitions, and the name of the chair studio or dance studio across the bottom, or the cheerleaders' individual names, or like I said, your dance girls' individual names like Peyton, dance team, HTV sort of thing, anything like that you've got, like I said, and you've got lots and lots of options. Like I said, you can do, like I said, completely customised, like little designs for your relatives, things like that. So like I said, you can completely make every style uniquely your own. So like I said, you can completely play around, mix up your colours, mix up your prints, mix up your design options, and just completely make everything your own. So thank you for watching. If you need any more help or advice on any tutorial at all, I've got the links to the Facebook page and the group below, along with the measurements and the suppliers that I've mentioned as I've been talking. And if you need anything else, don't feel free to ask me, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Okay, bye.